There's a part of success that nobody talks about enough. Not the highlights, not the achievements, not the moment when everyone finally notices you, but the invisible part, the quiet hours, the lonely mornings, the difficult nights, the moments when nobody is watching and you still choose to continue. That is where lives are changed. We live in a world obsessed with visible results. People see the finished product, the successful business, the confident speaker, the healthy body, the calm, disciplined person. But what they rarely see is the hidden process behind it all. The repetition, the failures, the boring routines, the countless moments where someone could have quit, but didn't. And maybe that's why so many people underestimate what success really looks like. Because real growth is usually invisible while it's happening. Think about a tree for a moment. When a tree begins growing, the first thing it builds is not the branches, not the leaves, not the height. It builds roots. Underground. Hidden. Unseen. For a long time, it may look like nothing is happening. But beneath the surface, strength is being built. Stability is being created. A foundation is forming. And only later does visible growth appear. Human growth works the same way. The strongest people often spend years building themselves quietly before the world notices anything. Maybe right now, you feel like your efforts are not paying off. Maybe you're working on yourself, learning, improving, trying to become more disciplined, but it feels like nothing is changing. You compare yourself to others. You wonder if you're behind. You question whether your small daily efforts even matter. But they do, more than you realize. Because every action you repeat is shaping your identity. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you are becoming someone different. Not instantly, but gradually. And gradual change is powerful because it lasts. The problem is that modern life trains us to expect immediate rewards. Fast results, quick progress, instant gratification. If something takes too long, people assume it isn't working. But the most valuable things in life usually take time. Trust takes time. Mastery takes time. Confidence takes time. Healing takes time. Becoming the person you want to be takes time. And yet, people often quit too early. Not because they are incapable, but because they cannot see progress quickly enough. Imagine heating water. At first, nothing seems to happen. The temperature rises slowly. 30 degrees, 40 degrees, 50 degrees. Still no visible change. But at 100 degrees, the water suddenly boils. Now imagine if someone stopped heating the water at 99 degrees because they thought it wasn't working. That's what many people do with their dreams. They stop too soon, right before the breakthrough. And sometimes the breakthrough is not even external. Sometimes the real breakthrough is internal. You become calmer, more patient, more focused, more resilient. You begin trusting yourself more. You stop needing constant validation. You stop relying on motivation and start relying on discipline. And honestly, that transformation matters more than any outside achievement. Because external success without internal stability often collapses. But when your inner foundation is strong, you can handle pressure, uncertainty, and setbacks without falling apart. Let's talk about setbacks for a moment. Because no meaningful journey is smooth. There will be failures. There will be mistakes. There will be moments where you feel exhausted and discouraged. And in those moments, it's easy to believe that struggling means you're failing. But struggling is not failing. Struggling means you are growing. Every person who has ever achieved something meaningful has faced moments of doubt. Moments where quitting felt easier. Moments where progress seemed impossible. The difference is not that successful people never feel discouraged. The difference is that they keep moving anyway. There's something important I want you to understand. You do not need to move fast. You only need to keep moving. Small progress still matters. Reading a few pages matters. Practicing for 20 minutes matters. Waking up and trying again matters. Even surviving difficult days matters. Especially those days. Because discipline is not built when things are easy. Discipline is built when things are difficult, and you continue anyway. Sometimes people imagine disciplined individuals as emotionless machines. But that's not true. Disciplined people feel tired too. They feel fear too. They feel self-doubt too. The difference is that they do not allow temporary emotions to permanently control their direction. And that is a skill anyone can develop. Not overnight, but little by little. One of the most powerful changes you can make in life is learning to separate feelings from decisions. You can feel tired and still act. You can feel unmotivated and still work. You can feel uncertain and still move forward. Feelings are temporary. Direction is a choice. And honestly, some of the best decisions you will ever make in your life will happen on days when you don't feel like doing anything. Because those are the moments that define who you are becoming. There's a quiet confidence that develops when you keep promises to yourself. When you say you'll do something and you do it. Even in small ways. Especially in small ways. Over time, your brain begins to trust you. You stop seeing yourself as someone who quits easily. You stop depending on external motivation. You become more stable internally. And that changes everything. Because confidence is not built by positive thinking alone. Confidence is built through evidence. Evidence that you can rely on yourself. Evidence that you continue even when things are difficult. Evidence that you are capable of growth. And the beautiful thing is nobody can take that away from you. Not failure. Not rejection. Not criticism. Because once you build internal strength, your identity is no longer dependent on temporary outcomes. Let me tell you something many people need to hear. You are probably closer than you think. Closer to growth. Closer to improvement. Closer to becoming the person you want to be. But growth often feels slow while you're inside it. Just like you don't notice a tree growing every day. Just like you don't notice the sunrise minute by minute. Transformation happens quietly. One day, you suddenly realize you think differently. You react differently. You handle stress differently. You've become stronger without even noticing. And all those invisible hours, all those quiet efforts, all those moments nobody saw, they finally begin to show. So if you feel discouraged today, remember this. Not every important thing is visible immediately. Not every meaningful change happens quickly. And not every season of growth looks exciting. Sometimes growth looks like consistency. Sometimes it looks like patience. Sometimes it looks like continuing despite uncertainty. But if you keep going, if you continue building yourself quietly, your life will change. Maybe slowly, but deeply and permanently. Because the life you want is not built in one dramatic moment. It is built in the small decisions you repeat every day. The invisible choices. The quiet discipline. The unseen hours. And one day, people will look at your life and call you successful. They'll admire your confidence, your focus, your discipline, your growth. But you will know the truth. You will know it was built slowly. In the hours nobody saw. Thank you for spending these moments with me today. And wherever you are in your journey right now, remember this. You do not need to have everything figured out. You only need to keep moving forward. Quietly. Consistently. One day at a time. And eventually, those invisible hours will become a visible life. I'll see you in the next episode.